going into this game as overwhelming favourites? It's not been a position in recent years. How does it feel?
Yeah, favourites is a tag in derby games, especially against the Ospreys, which you can't read too much into. I think it's good. You know, we've won 3 from 3. We haven't been outstanding in all those games. We've had periods in the games where we've been quite poor, really, and especially away in Connacht at half time, we were 8-0 down, having had the wind in our favour, and we had a bit of work to do there. So it's good. You know, we certainly would take where we are now at the start of the season. If someone said you'd be 3 from 3, yeah, definitely would take them. But there's a huge amount of work to do, and we're just sort of building a bit of momentum at the moment, and that's where we're at. You know, it's great, but we certainly aren't the finished article, and we haven't won anything yet either. So.
In fact, you managed to turn it around in Connacht. You managed to find a way of winning in Glasgow when you're missing all the kicks. Those are the sorts of things that weren't going your way last year.
Yeah, maybe you could look at excuses last year, but I think we took our chances in Glasgow. We did it again on the weekend. We probably left a couple behind as well against Connacht. So I think the difference is this season when we're creating, and we did that last year, but we didn't necessarily take those chances. And I think we're doing that this year. We're capitalising on the opportunities that we're creating, and that's the difference, I think, at the moment. Not so much that we weren't creating last year, but we weren't maybe executing as well as we could have done. So to be fair to the lads, they're finishing some of the chances off, and it makes our job a lot easier when they do finish them off.
What do you make of the Ospreys so far?
I thought they went really well in Treviso without a man for a large chunk of the game when Ian Evans got sent off. So I thought they went well there against a good Treviso team. In the last 2 games, they'll be disappointed they played at home and not really functioned to the level which we saw last season. But they have the quality within their ranks to turn it around. You know, they were champions of this competition only about 5 or 6 months ago, and I think they certainly don't need my advice to know how to win games and to win competitions, because they've done it and we haven't. So you know, I think they'll see this as a massive opportunity to try and get some momentum back into their season, and that's we're fully aware of that.
We were down there yesterday and they were sort of fully aware of their problems, but felt maybe a derby was a good game, because in a way you rip it up and form goes out the window and you start from scratch.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that, but we've got to be confident that we can take a lot from the last 3 games. They maybe can't take as much, so it is on the day like every game, but we're settled at the moment. We feel like we're developing some depth in our squad, and just like they'll be trying to concentrate on what they do, we'll do exactly that. Try and concentrate on what we've been doing really well and try and enforce our game on the Ospreys. It will come down to a little bit of the derby factor, I would have thought, but hopefully after that kind of settles down, the game settles down, we'll be able to get into our stride, and hopefully won't give them an opportunity to get any momentum into their game.
What's been the key for you? Who have been the key for you? Like George North is scoring a lot of tries, the pack's providing a solid platform. What are the key elements that you're looking at?
Yeah, combination really. We've had a mix to our game. We scored 7 tries against Leinster. We weren't tested particularly in defence because we had a lot of possession. Went to Glasgow, and the big turnaround. Although we scored 3 tries, we defended for twice as many phases as we did the week before. So our defence then came to the fore, and then on the weekend in Glasgow, our kicking game was very good. In Connacht, sorry, our kicking game was good. We managed the game well, even though we went up at half time. We saved a lot of energy, and then we hit them with a bit of a blitz at the start of the second half. So there's been a combination of things. Individuals have gone well, but in all of that, I think we've changed the side over the last 3 weeks as well, which has been good, and I think it's been good for the squad to know that they can get opportunities, and we're not just sticking to the tried and tested. We're looking at other options and building a bit of depth there, and I think we had a good mix to our game in all the 3 matches. We were probably disappointed in the first 40 against Connacht, but we showed a lot of character to come back in that game, and a mix of good attacking kicking, good attacking rugby and some good defensive stuff at the end secured that win. So it's been a combination of things this year, I think.
Can you just go through fitness updates? Rodri Jones, how long is he going to go for now?
Rodri, he picked up an injury a couple of weeks ago, and we scanned him last week, and he's had an operation last Friday, so it's probably going to be anything between 10 to 12 weeks.
Does that make, obviously different side, but we can play tight, so does that make the arrival of South Africa important or more important? Does it leave you a little bit short of propping?
Yeah, possibly. We'll have Rob Evans coming back, who was the under-20s, who said last year. He'll come back in November. Jacoby will arrive in November as well. So yeah, it maybe does highlight that slightly, but we'd be happy for those guys to come back and the new arrival to come, regardless of Rodri's injury. It was really unfortunate for Rod's, but it's the right thing. I think we could have managed it and maybe seen how it went over the next 6-8 weeks, but not guaranteed that he'd recover and then we go back in for an op. So the best course of action for him personally and for us and for Wales, I think, was to get him right, and hopefully we can manage what we've got at the moment before the new guys arrive and before Rods comes back as well.
When are you expecting the Argentinian for Laos, is it?
Yeah, hopefully he'll arrive beginning of next month, in time for our European preparation.
You mentioned wingers that the way George started the season has been pretty extraordinary. Have you sort of, your playing, coaching career come up against many talents?
No, he's gone very well at the start of the season. He's very much focused on performing for us, and he knows that if he performs well, he's confident. He then goes out and plays and plays well, and then he gets his opportunity for Wales. He's confident as well, and yes, we've got to manage players like George and John Davis and other internationals, but we're really happy with the way that George and all the other guys who came back off the summer tour have responded, and to a man they've all bought into what we're trying to do here, and it adds to the ethos of the squad, and not only those guys but the other ones that have been around all summer working and training have had opportunities as well. Not everyone has, and we'd like to give more guys opportunities, but at this stage we're starting to build some depth in those positions, and George is one of many that have stood up in the last 3 or 4 weeks and really shone, as did Jordan Williams against Connacht as well.
Personally, you're kind of making this coaching quite easy.
It's early days. I'd be a fool to get too far. The good thing for me is that it sounds a bit. What I've been able to do is put things in place. The club, the business have given me the chance to put the backroom in place, to put the off-field stuff, the conditioning and the physio departments have all had input, and we've had. For me, it's the ability to provide the best environment for players to go out and perform. I think, on the whole, we've been allowed to do that. We've improved our analysis department, we've improved our medical department, we've improved our rugby coaching. So there's a combination of things at the moment that's allowing us to hopefully get the players in the right place come the weekend to perform. And if you don't have that in place, then it's a bit of a struggle. So we've got a big, we've got, in terms of my job, I'm sort of at the end of the line, as it were. Hopefully what we're able to do is give the players exactly what they need to do, and then it's over to them once they cross the whitewash. We can't do much about it after that, but before that we can prepare them in the best way we possibly can, and we're able to do that at the moment.
selection headaches this week.
Yeah, yeah, which is nice. Yeah, we have in certain positions we have, and that's great. We made 8 changes last week going to Connor, something that maybe a few people might have been concerned about, but we felt like the players we brought in were only going to add to what we replaced. So it's great. It's what you want. I'm sure there'll be times in the year where we've got a few injuries and maybe players not in such good form that maybe won't have this problem, but at the moment we have got it, and that's what you want from a team and a squad.
One of those players has played every game, Richard Kelly. Can you say a little bit about the impact he's made? Because he's probably one player, that's one side that probably people weren't getting that excited about.
Yeah, Richard is, he came to us in the summer primarily to get some training with us. Really. He's shone really in this, certainly in the set piece, the line out in particular is very much his area. He's worked very well with Danny in terms of his preparation and leading that area. So he has become a real, it's a massive positive for us. To be fair to him, he's really worked hard on every aspect of his game. His line-out was always going to be a positive area, but there's other areas of the game he's improved on as well. So this weekend in particular, the chance to face the Ospreys would be a massive carrot, I think. Probably back in London Welsh even, where he got that first chance, and he's gone from strength to strength. But I think probably on the horizon was the opportunity to maybe come up against the Ospreys in round 4. That's something that he's certainly managed to put into place over the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah. And just looking at the Ospreys, I mean, Tidbrook has caused you problems in the past. Is he going to be a major threat again?
Yeah, I think he's a threat whenever he plays. I think we've certainly highlighted certain areas in their game which they can possibly affect us and affect our momentum. Justin would be one of those players that's has that impact, that ability to do that. He's someone that we'd have to be particularly aware of. He is playing in a team that's not maybe functioning as well as they like. He is always one of the standout players.
Simon, you were talking about you having performance to the maximum for 80 minutes. You've kind of shown your card already. Is there further dimensions to come from the Scarlets, or is it just a case of you've put together 80-minute performance?
I think there's certainly more things we can add. I think we have shown in glimpses a mix in our game, but I think there's still more to come. I think the more prolonged periods we can play with sort of tempo and the sort of speed of ball, intensity, physicality that we've seen in patches this season, that's our challenge, I think, to be able to produce that more consistently in an 80-minute performance. So there's always areas where you can improve on, and there's areas that we've been disappointed in games, even though we've won all 3. We've still been disappointed in areas of our game. So there's certainly areas which we'll hopefully keep improving on.